Welcome to this month's edition of OSU Extension Monthly. It is the month of February, and in the month of February, our thoughts always turn to hearts. But today what we're going to talk about is women and heart diseases, because women, that is the number one killer of women, is heart diseases. It surpasses and kills more women in a year than cancers, all of the cancers added together, including breast cancer. We know that both men and women have heart attacks, but more women who have heart attacks die from them. Why is that? Because women often delay getting medical care after a heart attack more often than what the men do. And why is that? Well, it's because, one, maybe they don't even know the warning signs and symptoms of a heart attack. We know that crushing chest pain is a symptom, but it's not the only symptom of a heart attack. And women don't always recognize those other symptoms. Women also believe that only men and very old people have heart attacks. Unfortunately, that is not true, as we know. Even young people can have a heart attack and die. For women, so many of them are so busy that they're trying to take care of their family needs, their family duty, that they fail to take care of themselves. And that really is not a good thing for them. Another thing is that women often suffer from depression, and they resign to suffering and feel like that, the pain is there for other reasons, and they don't connect it with their heart attack. There are several risk factors that contribute to a person's chance of developing heart diseases. The risk factors for women include, of course, early menopause, whether that's naturally occurring or whether it's from a hysterectomy. Estrogen plus progesterone treatment can also up one's risk for heart diseases. Race. Women of color have higher rate and higher risk factors than some of the Caucasian ladies do. Also, women use birth control pills, and high-dose birth control pills, especially if a woman smokes, truly ups their risk. And then sleep apnea. When a person stops breathing for 10 seconds or longer during their sleep, that is a risk factor for heart diseases. My husband often tells me that I stop breathing during the night, and I've been told that I really should have my heart checked out, which in fact I have done so. While some risk factors cannot be changed, there are some that actually can. There are some habits that women have in their lives that can be changed. Of women between the ages of 40 and 60 years old, 33% of that is 1 in every 3 women, have one risk factor for heart disease that they can change. Another 31% of women in this age group have 2 risk factors, and 17% have 3 or more risk factors. Let's talk a little bit about the different ages of women and things that goes on and what they can do to protect their heart. We're going to start with the 20s. In your 20s, it's really easy to overlook the importance of giving a heart-healthy lifestyle. Living that is so important, and it's hard also when you're in your 20s to stick to a routine where that you eat well and you exercise. It's very difficult when you're in your 20s to hit the gym or think about the right number of fruits and vegetables that you need to eat after class or at work. But the truth is, as the older you get, it usually gets harder to stay healthy. And what you do in your 20s does matter. Your family history, blood pressure, blood cholesterol, weight, physical activity, exposure to tobacco, smoke, if you have diabetes, or even the birth control measure you choose, can have an effect on your risk of heart disease as well as for strokes. Perhaps you're already going to the gym, walking regularly, or maintaining an exercise routine. If you're not, being young doesn't give you a free pass. You really do need to get off of the couch and start getting regular exercise into your daily life. Find an activity that you enjoy and have fun. For women of any age, the American Heart Association recommends at least 150 minutes of moderate intense exercise or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity aerobic physical exercises in a week. But you don't have to do it all at once. It's not like you have to set aside a whole hour, hour and a half a week to exercise. You can do that in short spurts. Split it up into 10-minute intervals throughout the day. In your 20s, you're figuring out what your path in life is going to be, and that's pretty emotional. There's a lot of emotional things going on in your life, and then you're going up and you're going down. So the transition between relationships, school, and work can take an emotional toll on your life and also affect your weight gain and your health. If you have an active social life, it's pretty tough to pay attention to what you eat. Sometimes it's just, I want to eat what I want to eat. But a better choice here and there can make a huge difference. In short, if you're in your 20s, we suggest that you look for heart-healthy foods like fruit and vegetables, fiber-rich whole grains, lean meat, fish or skinless chicken, fat-free 1% fat and low-fat dairy products. Food should be broiled, baked, grilled, steamed, or sautéed. Frying is not a good option. Foods that are low in saturated and trans fat, cholesterol, sodium, and added sugars should be avoided. It doesn't even matter if you have health issues in your 20s or not. It's important that you have a relationship with your doctor. Ask your doctor to check your blood pressure. Most of the time when you go to a doctor's visit, they do take your blood pressure. But you need to have them do it if they don't do it. Also ask them to check your cholesterol, your heart rate, your blood sugar, as well as your weight. Your body is very unique. And so it's important that between you and your doctor that you have all of those numbers for those blood pressure and cholesterol, etc., because it helps you to understand where you're at and what changes you might need to make in the future. If you're in your 30s, many women get very, very involved during that time in their careers, and many times they have families. And what happens is they neglect to take care of their own health. Don't let that happen to you. Remember, you're young, but you're not a kid anymore. Life is a balancing act between your friends, your family, and your job, as well as yourself. But your health should always, always be your top priority. In your 30s is the excellent time to start building heart-healthy habits. Studies have shown that if you can avoid the conditions that you put you at risk for heart disease until you're in your 50s, chances are good that you'll never develop heart diseases. But you have to pay attention to it now. And the payoff of what you do in your 30s is well worth your investment. The very first step, if you're in your 30s, in preventing heart disease is to find out if there's anyone in your family that has had heart diseases or any of the associated risk factors. If they have, then recognize that your chances are greater for developing heart diseases as you get age. Once you are aware of your family history, make it a point to talk to your physician, your health care provider, and see if they have any recommendations for what you can do to decrease your risk of developing heart disease. If you're pregnant, many times ladies in their 30s are, or they're breastfeeding, or thinking about having a baby, you really need to increase your folate, increase levels into your body. Foods rich in folate are very, very important. They're important for your child as well as for you. During your 30s, try to eat more green leafy vegetables. Eat more dried beans, peas, and other types of vegetables and fruits. Make a point to talk to your health care provider about your individual dietary needs. Exercise is great for maintaining your weight, boosting your energy level, as well as maintaining stress. And in your 30s, we have some issues with all of those. It's also excellent for your heart. The American Heart Association experts recommend, again, 150 minutes of moderate intensity of exercise or 75 minutes of vigorous physical exercise every week. That's the recommendation in your 20s. It remains a recommendation for you in your 30s. And if you don't exercise regularly, now's a good time to start. All it takes is about 30 minutes of exercise a day on most days. Jogging with a friend. I'm going to walk with my friend. I don't do jogging. It's too hard on my bones. Even having a game of tag with your children can give you that burst of exercise and energy that you need. The best way to manage your weight in your 30s is just old-fashioned diet and exercise. With your busy schedule, it's important to plan meals ahead, to think about what you're eating and recognize what you eat does matter. It's also important that you keep healthy snacks in your car, because if you're like me, when I travel, I want to snack on something, and I need to make sure that they're healthy and they're there when I need them. Just this last week, I was pretty stressed out over a lot of things, and what did I find myself eating? Sugar-coated cashews. Ooh, they tasted so good. And while nuts are healthy for us, the sugar-coated, not so much. For most of us, checkups for the kids or with our own OBGYN are no-brainers. We just need to take care of that and do that. And why should your heart health be any different? It's important that we make time for annual checkups to make sure that a little ticker in there is working the way it should be. Ask your doctor about health-related concerns that you might have, and make sure that you check those numbers for your blood pressure, your cholesterol, your heart rate, your blood glucose, and your weight. When you have those numbers, it'll help you gauge your health and provide a baseline for future tests. And you need that baseline so that you and your doctor can recognize when things need to be addressed. After you get out of your 30s and you enter into your 40s, well, sometimes we get kind of set in our own ways as we age, and we think that, oh well, we haven't done it before, it doesn't matter now. That's not correct. It's never too late to start working on your heart health. Even small choices can improve your health and lead to heart-healthy habits. Women are naturally caretakers. Our motto is others first and then ourselves. But what would happen if suddenly you were ill and unable to take care of others, or even to go to work? You have to make time and invest in your own health. And frankly, you're the only one that can do it. And you have to do it for yourself as well as for those that depend on you. Start by making sure that you eat heart-healthy foods. And that's food that gives you the nutrients that you need. Just because you go in the store and something has a little heart on the package and it says it's heart healthy, it may not be. You need to make time to check out those labels and make sure that what you eat is nutritious for you. If you don't know what nutrients that your body needs, it's pretty hard to eat a good, nutritious, balanced diet. But we can help you with that here at the Texas County OSU Extension Service. Help you to understand that relationship between your nutrition needs and your heart and your health. Again, it's important if you're in your 40s to find out whether anyone in your family has had heart condition. I know for a fact that my grandfather, my paternal grandfather, he passed away with a heart attack in his 70s. So that gives me a risk factor there. Anytime that you can say yes that someone in your family has had heart problems in the past, your risk levels are higher. So you want to focus on nutrition and working healthy foods into your diet. Now is a good time to eat a diet rich in fruits and vegetables with fiber-rich whole grains. That means things that have not been overly processed. Eat lean meat, skinless poultry, and have fish at least twice a week. I need to do that myself. For dairy, pick the low-fat, 1% fat content, low-fat products. Also, make sure you keep your intake of saturated fat down. Trans fat, cholesterol, sodium, and added sugar are all things that can do damage to your heart, and you want to keep that intake as low as possible. If you aren't regularly physically active, now you need to start. It's very, very important. Not only will you keep your heart healthy and avoid some of those risk factors for heart disease, you'll just improve your fitness level, your energy level, as well as your mental outlook. Regular physical activity, again, 150 minutes a week, 70 of moderate intensity, 75 minutes of high intensity is necessary. And it'll keep your metabolism up and help you lose or control weight. It'll boost your confidence level and improve your mood. Health-wise, exercise can cause improvement in both your blood cholesterol and your HDL, which we call the good cholesterol levels. Reduce your chances of developing diabetes and strengthen your heart. Sometimes in the 40s or 50s, usually around the lead up time to menopause, you may notice that it becomes harder to maintain your usual weight. I did. That's why it's all the more important that we manage our stress and stick to a healthy diet and exercise routine. It becomes very, very important in the 40 or 50 minutes that you do that. A good indicator of healthy or unhealthy weight for adult men and women is their body mass index, or the BMI. If you don't know what the BMI is, you can check with the OSU Extension Office and we can help you figure out how to find out what it is. But the bottom line is, if your BMI is over 24.9, you are overweight and you have an additional risk for heart diseases. If you have too much body fat, especially in your waist area, so if your waist circumference is 35 for women or 40 for men or up, you have increased your risk for heart diseases. So you need to eat and exercise to keep those numbers lower, okay? So one of the things that you really can think about is that you can have a mindset of whatever calories you put into your body, you need to take out through exercise. And every everything we eat has calories in it. You know that 80% of heart diseases is preventable? 80% of it. And if you're in your 40s and your 50s, take steps so that you can have a long, healthy life. Now, I've been talking about your 40s. We're into your 50s. Again, all of the things that we talked about in the 40s are really, really important. You need to have more control over your time and choose foods that are healthier for you. It's very, very important. Think about what you want the rest of your life to be like. Do you want to have a healthy heart, or do you want to have some issue? If you haven't been exercising, now is the time. Pick an activity that you enjoy. My father is 90 years old, and when he goes to the doctor tells him his heart's better than some 25-year-olds. Now my father can't get out and do all the things he used to do, but one of the things that he really enjoys doing is dancing. And he and his partner go dancing about 3 times a week. Does he have a healthy heart? Yes, and it's because he's done that exercising. No, when you're in your 50s, your 60s, you can't look like you did in your 20s. Your body doesn't even act the way it did when you were in 20. So it's really important that you work and put the effort in to maintain that waistline that is below 35 inches for us women, and that our BMI is below, well, actually it needs to be at somewhere between 18 to 20, 2 or 3. Anything over that is problematic for us. As we age, we lose some of our immunity abilities as women, and that affects our hearts as well. Of course, now that you're in your 60s, you have to continue to do what you did in your 40s and 50s. Now is not the time where you say, even though we want to, I just want to sit here and watch television. Still got to get out there and be active. Studies have shown that quality of life for people over 65 can be impacted by your weight. So if you're overweight, you're going to have more joint pain. You're not going to burn the calories that you used to burn. And you've upped your risk for heart disease. As we talk about heart disease, and I said earlier, you know, the chest discomfort, we're all aware of that, but there's some other symptoms. Some of those are that you might have pain or discomfort in one or both of your arms, in your back, in your jaw, in your neck, and even in your stomach. So if you have some shortness of breath, or you feel some of this discomfort in all of these different places that I just mentioned, you might ought to have it checked out to make sure that your heart is not having a failure. If you or someone you are with has chest discomfort, they're nauseous, they break out in cold sweat, they're lightheaded, they can't breathe, they have shortness of breath, it's really important that you don't delay, and that within 5 minutes of their having those symptoms, you've made contact with 911 and have an ambulance on the way. Perhaps you live, as I do, way out in the country, and maybe you can get there faster than an ambulance can get you there and back to the hospital. You can drive yourself, although we really don't recommend that. And if it's the only way you can get there, go. What I like to recommend is that you call 911, tell them what's going on, let them know where you're located, tell them that you are going to start on your way, and meet them somewhere along the way so that then they can go ahead and get you to the hospital. Again, don't wait more than 5 minutes after your symptoms start. Don't worry about having a false alarm. It's better to go to the hospital and find out that you don't have a heart attack than to not go and have a heart attack and not make it. You may have heard about taking aspirin. It's not recommended that you take aspirin unless it's going to be a long time before an ambulance can get there to get you. Also, the self-coughing, technique. I've heard of that, and I'm sure many of you have, that is only useful when you are under doctor's care. So don't self-administer coughing to try to take care of your heart attack. Also, make sure that you get heart exams. When you go to a doctor for a cold or whatever you go for, they're not going to do a heart test on you. Ask for it. Tell them you want to know what your numbers are. What's your blood pressure? What's your blood rate? What's your cholesterol level? And then if you've had swelling in your feet or legs or other places like that, have it checked out. Also, make sure that you get a baseline of your fasting blood glucose levels. If you don't have one, you need to get one, and then you need to get one every 3 years. And it may even be required more often if you are pregnant, overweight, you're diabetic, or if you are at risk for becoming a diabetic. I have gotten my information, and you can get more information by going online to www.goredforwomen.org or www.americanheart.org. But it's very important that we take care of ourselves and that we take care of our bodies. And we can do that by healthy eating and regular physical exercises. For more information on this or any other things that you might have a question about, just contact us here at the Texas County OSU Extension Office, and we'll be more than happy to supply you with the answers. We don't know the answers, we will find the answers for you. We are here to serve you at 301 North Main in Guymon, Oklahoma. See you later.